Jerusalem as end-time Babylon, a detailed exposé. The concept of Jerusalem as Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and the great city in end-time prophecy is a complex and multifaceted issue, drawing upon key scriptures from Revelation and integrating them with historical, religious, and contemporary realities. This exposé aims to explore how Jerusalem fits the role of end-time Babylon. We'll analyze the biblical texts and their prophetic implications, placing them within the historical and modern context to provide a balanced and thoughtful understanding. Key Bible texts and prophetic imagery. Revelation 17:3-6. The Woman and the Beast. Revelation 17:3-6. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. And on her forehead a name was written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I marveled with great amazement. In this passage, the woman seated on the beast symbolizes a city or power that carries profound spiritual significance. She is characterized by a combination of wealth, luxury, and depravity, illustrated by her attire of purple and scarlet, symbols of royalty and impurity. She holds a golden cup filled with abominations, representing spiritual adultery and idolatry. The drunkenness with the blood of saints emphasizes her involvement in the persecution of God's people. The woman represents a spiritual system that leads people into rebellion against God, and the blood of the martyrs points to her active participation in spiritual and physical violence against the faithful. Revelation 17:18, the woman is the great city. Revelation 17:18, and the woman whom you saw is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. This verse confirms that the woman represents a city with significant political influence over the kings of the earth. The description of the great city aligns with the importance of Jerusalem as a center of power, both historically and spiritually, for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Revelation 18 verse 2-5, the fall of Babylon. Revelation 18:2-5, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. The fall of Babylon in Revelation 18 signals the ultimate judgment of this great city. Babylon is portrayed as a global power whose immorality and idolatry affect all nations. The imagery of drunkenness suggests that Babylon's influence has intoxicated the nations, leading them into rebellion and spiritual corruption. Jerusalem as Babylon. Analyzing the prophecy 1. Jerusalem as a center of spiritual influence. Jerusalem has historically been the spiritual center for Jews and Christians. It is the location of the temple in Jerusalem, Solomon's and the Second Temple, and it is where pivotal events such as the crucifixion of Jesus Christ took place. Jerusalem is also the holiest city in Judaism and the third holiest city in Islam. Spiritually, however, Jerusalem's history is marked by rejection and apostasy. During Jesus' first coming, Jerusalem was the center of rejection of the Messiah. Jesus wept over the city, saying, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you. Matthew 23, verse 37. This pattern of rejecting God's messengers, particularly the Messiah, is a central theme in the city's spiritual history. In Revelation, Jerusalem is called the great city that rejects God's message and is associated with the death of God's prophets. Revelation 11:8 calls it the city where our Lord was crucified, which ties the city's historical spiritual condition to the rejection of Jesus Christ. In the end times, Jerusalem's role may shift from being the holy city to becoming a center of spiritual rebellion, playing a part in the establishment of a global idolatrous system. 2. The spiritual harlotry of Jerusalem. In Revelation 17, the woman is called the mother of harlots, which points to spiritual adultery and idolatry. Jerusalem, in the prophetic sense, can be seen as the city that has often turned away from God's truth and embraced false religions or false political systems. The term harlot denotes spiritual infidelity. Historically, Jerusalem's leaders have led the nation into idolatry. The golden calf incident, Exodus 32, the introduction of foreign gods in the time of the kings, e.g., Asherah poles in 1 Kings 14 verse 23, and the rejection of the true Messiah by many of Jerusalem's leaders point to the spiritual adultery of the city. In this light, Jerusalem could embody the mother of harlots by continuing to play a role in leading the world into idolatry. Additionally, Jerusalem's current position in the Middle East could serve as a political center that promotes false peace agreements or spiritual compromises, aligning with the end-time system of the beast. 3. Jerusalem and the persecution of the saints. Revelation 17 verse 6 describes the woman as being drunk with the blood of the saints and the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. Jerusalem's history includes persecution of those who followed Christ. From the stoning of Stephen, Acts 7, to the persecution of early Christians, Jerusalem has been a city marked by spiritual violence. The modern-day persecution of Messianic Jews, Jews who accept Jesus as the Messiah, in Jerusalem and Israel also mirrors this pattern. In Revelation, the city is seen as symbolically rejecting God's messengers and standing in opposition to the true followers of Christ. As we draw closer to the end times, this persecution could intensify, especially if Jerusalem aligns with the global beast system. It may engage in religious intolerance, suppressing the faithful, and supporting systems that reject Christ and promote false worship. 4. Jerusalem as the great city. The political role. Jerusalem's political significance is undeniable. As the spiritual capital of Israel, Jerusalem has become a flashpoint in global politics. The status of Jerusalem is a key issue in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and international powers continue to dispute over its control. In the prophetic sense, Jerusalem is seen as a great city that has influence over the nations of the earth. While Jerusalem has not historically been a military superpower, it wields significant spiritual and political influence, particularly through its religious history and its role in global peace processes. Jerusalem's role in end-time prophecy might involve political alliances or compromises that pave the way for the rise of the beast system. This could include the promotion of false peace agreements as she continues to align with global powers, such as the United States or the European Union, or spiritual deception that leads the world toward a one-world religion under the Antichrist. Jerusalem as Babylon, the present-day reality. Political and religious tensions. Jerusalem's status continues to be a source of global conflict. It is a religious and political flashpoint where Jews, Christians, and Muslims all claim some form of authority over the city. The international community is deeply divided over issues like the location of the embassy and the rights of Palestinians. In prophetic terms, this political tension mirrors Babylon's role as a corrupting power that influences nations and leads them into rebellion. The danger of apostasy. The spiritual apostasy of Jerusalem may not be fully realized yet, but in the end times, Jerusalem's possible shift toward an apostate form of religion could set the stage for spiritual Babylon. The current religious scene in Israel includes a mixture of Judaism, secularism, and a growing influence of other faiths, making it possible for Jerusalem to embrace a unified, false religious system. Conclusion. Jerusalem, in the context of end-time prophecy, represents a complex spiritual entity. Historically, the city of God, Jerusalem may become the center of spiritual apostasy in the last days, embodying the role of Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and the great city that persecutes the saints. In Revelation, Jerusalem's shift from being God's chosen city to a center of idolatry, false religion, and political manipulation underscores the final battle between good and evil. This transition is not merely a matter of historical fact, but a prophetic symbol of spiritual decline and the world's rejection of Christ. As global politics and religious systems align, Jerusalem's role as Babylon will continue to be a focal point in the eschatological unfolding of God's plan.